Quick warning, if you haven't played Death Stranding, spoiler alert, now I'm going to go into full detail with this game, so only proceed if you have played it or don't care. Also technically spoilers for PT, but like, come on, what's likely you're going to play that at this point if you haven't? Okay, everyone else that's here doesn't care, right? Without further ado, let's get started.
I found out I was going to be a father. I was so scared.
So it took a long time, but I was finally able to beat Death Stranding. My personal opinion, I loved it. I mean, it had its flaws.
It's your mother, Bridget.
Are we just assuming he didn't know his own mother? I do think Death Stranding may have been released in the wrong medium. I personally found the parts I enjoyed the most to be cutscenes or the parts of the game where the story was revealed. Yes, it's a great game, and I'm so glad I played it. Seriously though, if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's not what I'm here to talk about today though. If you're watching this video, you probably remember PT, or Playable Teaser. The game set up the next installment in the Silent Hill series, Silent Hills. Directed by Hideo Kojima, director of the Metal Gear franchise, Del Toro, no I can't pronounce his first name, a horror icon, and starring Norman Reedus. You know, that badass. However, the game was promptly scrapped due to a situation I don't feel like covering. I'll leave a link to a good video on it below if you're interested. Instead, we got Death Stranding, and Silent Hills was dead. Or was it? Okay, I promise last thing before I get started. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Abby. My PS4 with PT on it bricked a while ago, but she still has it. She let me come over and record all the PT footage you're seeing at her place. Fun fact, Abby does edits. I'll leave her Instagram account in the description below. Anyway, I think it's a common belief that Death Stranding carried over elements from Silent Hills. And I am in no way saying Death Stranding is just the story of Silent Hills with a different coat of paint. I think a lot changed actually, and I think it may have been an entirely different theme. The story of Death Stranding is so rooted in what it is that I personally can't see it being anything else. Yeah, that was specific. Anyway, what makes you think we can use Death Stranding to predict Silent Hills? Well, it was one specific line.
I'm sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, that one. Anyone who's played or knows anything about PT knows what's so significant about this name. Throughout PT, you're chased by the ghost of a dead woman, who based on context clues, we can only assume is named Lisa. I'm going to start by dissecting the story and events of PT, and then I'll get into the evidence from Death Stranding, and then I'll speak about what I think Silent Hills was going to be. One last thing before I begin. I'm sure there are other videos talking about the same topic and discussion forums and whatnot. I've not read or watched anything else related to this topic. These are all my own personal thoughts based on my experiences with the games. On top of that, I could be absolutely wrong, and that's okay. I'm making this video for fun. So with all that out of the way, let's get into it. PT is actually my favorite horror game of all time, which really just shows how effective its super simple concept is. You find yourself continually walking through the same hallway over and over again. Every time there's a simple little change, and most of the time there's a puzzle you need to solve. There's no real direction, and you're left on your own to figure out what needs to be done. There's this really eerie sense of claustrophobia, and the game just asks you to do some really messed up actions.
Last month and in December last year, a man used a rifle and meat cleaver to murder his entire family.
You find yourself attempting to escape from Lisa and her child, who's a fetus in a sink, as they are, all while the radio talks about several gruesome cases of fathers killing their families. The game's difficult final puzzle is famous. The goal is to make the baby laugh 3 times, and there are a number of ways you can make it laugh. My favorite is by playing this into the mic.
Did you like it?
Eventually you escape, and the radio voice speaks these lines.
Dad was such a drag. Every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining. I was dying of boredom anyway. But guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
This is a clear hint as to what's to come and what's now revealed as Silent Hills by Kojima Productions. So what's my take on it? I think the Silent Hills is a hint. I'm sure I'm not the first one to think of this theory, but I don't think you're going through the same hallway over and over. I think you're going into the same hallway in a parallel universe. The different murders they're talking about on the radio is all the same murder in these different universes, and the voice is Fetus in the Sink, the son that was murdered in the womb. Except I think this son only existed in one universe. This leads to the identity of Norman Reedus' character. Upon playing only PT, I figured Norman Reedus was dear, old dad. Hence the Welcome to Hell puzzle. You're one of the dads this son is going on a rampage across the multiverse attempting to take revenge on. Silent Hill is a hell of its own, and it's known for being whoever enters own personal hell. Here the father, whether you would be guilty or maybe one that was innocent, has to atone for his sins. Possibly even seek your son's forgiveness, which sounds like such a great game, and I need it now. Until I play Death Stranding. So Death Stranding has a name in common, sure. But what makes me think we can predict Silent Hills from it? Well, first off, Lisa is the mother of the BB in the flashbacks we get throughout the game. A fetus. Okay, cool, there's one connection. But what else is there?
If beaches were likened to a multiverse...
If we continue off of my theory of Silent Hills being about a multiverse of hells, then people's beaches, their afterlife being a multiverse, is a huge parallel. Death Stranding at its core is about connecting humanity. I can't lie and say the parts with Clifford Unger aren't the best of the game. Clifford throughout the game attempts to take Lou, or the BB unit Sam carries around. Until your very last battle, where he looks at Sam, gives him a hug, and moves along. Now, I know I gave a spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, but as I'm about to literally discuss the big plot twist of Death Stranding, I feel the need to give another one here. Okay, are we good? If you're still here, it means you don't mind. The reveal is the memories you see of Lisa and Clifford's son aren't Lou's, they're yours. Sam is Lisa and Clifford's son. Honestly, this cleared up what was happening with Sam and Amelie for me, because if she was a sister, Alabama, just straight Alabama. Maybe they clarified he was adopted by Bridget at some point, but I missed it. Anyway, Sam is Clifford and Lisa's son. Clifford, who spent the whole game trying to kill Sam. I'm assuming you can see where this is going. It's very likely there is no story connection between Silent Hills and Death Stranding besides the few things we've already clarified. Maybe the story proposed for Silent Hills based on the evidence in PT alone was absolutely correct. Now let's assume I'm correct in the game's connection, and the similarities go beyond a theme of death, multiversity, and character named. I believe Norman Reedus in Silent Hills is the fetus, or another version of him. The hallway was his own worst hell he couldn't escape, the murders. He will have been brought to Silent Hill from another Silent Hill. Norman Reedus is the one seeking revenge, or another version of him. Now, maybe this is once again meant to be a plot twist. That's assuming we're following the story of Death Stranding. So using everything in this video and basic knowledge of Silent Hill, this is my proposed storyline for Silent Hills. Also, for simplicity's sake, Norman Reedus' character will be referred to as Sam, and his father as Clifford. Sam goes to Silent Hill looking for his missing father, who sent him a postcard from the mysterious town. I only say we start this way because it's how Silent Hill is known to start typically, and I really think they lean into that. Maybe he's gone looking for him because he hasn't seen his father in years, keeping up that theme of reconnection from Death Stranding. Upon arriving, he discovers the city isn't what it seems. Every time Sam enters the other world, which in itself proves multiverse, when he leaves, things change around Silent Hill. Somehow, Sam finds the living fetus and decides he needs to protect it, unaware it's in control of the town. After taking it in, outside of the other generic monsters, he finds himself chased by two distinct entities, a ghost named Lisa and a monster who looks very familiar. The story unfolds as he escapes from the two and finally finds his father. Then he recognizes his father again as the monster. Sam and his normal father somehow encounter Lisa, which Clifford recognizes as Sam's mother. Through some means, Sam discovers who the fetus is and why his father was taken here. He must defeat the evil Clifford, ending the cycle of violence. Sam and his father are reconnected outside of Silent Hill. Like I said, I could be completely wrong, and there are some jumps in logic here and there that have no evidence, but it just seems what would most likely happen based on what we have. How does PT's story fit into this? Who knows? For all we know, it doesn't. It may have just been a standalone story and teaser. Alright, so I'm sitting here recording this and I'm completely off script right now because I just realized something. Based on the only one quote, what if the Sam that we are playing is the only one and that fetus we're carrying around is a fabrication by Lisa? And the big plot twist somehow is that Lisa is the one behind the murders, and it was never Clifford's fault. That's a big jump in logic, but it's something I just thought of, and it's an interesting thought, so I feel like I'd include it in the video here at the end. Let's not forget, this was all just for fun. Am I wrong? Yeah, probably. But I enjoyed making this video, and I really think it was the best way to cap off my experience with Death Stranding. If you haven't checked out the game and you're thinking about it, you can take my word for it. What do you guys think? I don't usually like asking for comments, but this feels like the type of video that calls for it, so let me know what you think down below. So I guess really the last thing to ask is,
did you like it?
Sam goes to Silent Hill for his missing father, who sent him a postcard from there. I only say this because this is how Silent Hill is known to typically start. I think they'd lean into that. Maybe he went looking for him because he hadn't seen his father in years, keeping up that theme of reconnection from Death Stranding. Death Stranding? Stranding. This leads to the identity of Mormon Reedus. What?